What to eat and what to avoid if your blood sugar level is not right?
If your blood sugar level is not is too high, then if you are a diabetic type 1 or type 2, diet indeed is fundamentally important in the management of diabetes. So what is known as things that are described as simple carbohydrates, and sugar is an example of a simple carbohydrate, should be avoided or taken to the minimum possible extent. These tend to raise the blood glucose quite sharply, and so these simple carbohydrates must be reduced. Uh, Fats, particularly trans fats, so must be avoided. There are other fats which are beneficial, so polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats to an extent are recommended for a diabetic individual. Uh, what must be taken are complex carbohydrates, a lot of dietary fiber, protein is essential, and healthy fats must be taken in the diet of a diabetic individual. Proteins come, if you were to divide protein into vegetarian and non-vegetarian sources of protein, so the non-vegetarian sources of protein are better protein, are considered to be better biologically, and these proteins are better than uh, vegetarian proteins in some ways. So examples of these are, of course, meat, the consumption of fish or eggs or milk, and dairy products. So non-vegetarian proteins are better qualitatively compared to vegetarian proteins. Uh, if a patient is not a non-vegetarian, then examples of vegetarian protein for such an individual the consumption of would be through the consumption of legumes. So various dals that we have, uh, these are good sources, are better sources of protein among the vegetarian options. Also, stuff like soya is a good source of protein, and also tofu, which is available these days. There are the amount of protein in our cereals tends to be very, very low. So for a vegetarian individual, the person must rely on legumes, on the consumption of legumes and soya, and of course dairy products. You could classify them as non-vegetarian or vegetarian in origin. So in our country, where the majority of individuals do not have a problem with the consumption of dairy, that indeed can be a very good source of protein also.
Which fruits are eaten and avoided if a person has diabetes?
So what I tell most of my patients is that if you are diabetic, you should consume a fruit a day. Now, what fruit is the question? And the overwhelming majority of fruits can be taken by diabetic individuals. Fruits are sweet; they do contain natural sugars, which tend to elevate blood glucose levels and impact the blood triglyceride levels. But the advantages that fruits give you are substantial. So they give you plenty of fiber, they give you antioxidants, they give you plenty of vitamins, and these are very important in the nutritional composition of a good diet. So fruits should indeed be taken by patients in appropriate quantity. So there are separate. So every fruit has a different caloric value, and therefore that must be discussed with a dietitian. But most diabetic individuals should indeed take fruits. They should not, however, take, at least try to avoid to the extent possible, juices. So the whole fruit must be consumed and not juices. And the timing of the fruit must be discussed with the dietitian. So most fruits can be taken in between two major meals, which do not tend to spike the blood glucose too much.